Okay, so let's say you've given a test and it's been through your Google Forms. When you go to that test and you open it up in your Google Drive, again, you can go to your email, go to your grid, find your Google Drive, and it'll pop up into something like this. Wherever you saved it, it may just be in your basic Google Drive, or if you've got subfolders in here, you'll find where you actually gave this. This is one I called Test Flubaroo. So once you actually give that test to students, you'll have another option that pops up of your responses. So you'll have two different items that end up popping up. You notice that the responses are in a separate spreadsheet, so they're in a completely different program. So here under this quiz that I have created for some different people to take, you can see here just some different questions that I had asked them and had sent it out. Now, up here you can see next to the responses in parentheses is a 6. That means that 6 people have actually taken this quiz. So I've got two options to view results. I can view students independently, like individual results of how each student did by going to view results, and a spreadsheet will pop up. This actually will be the spreadsheet you use to grade with the program called Flubaroo. But this gives you an individual. You can see each student and what each student individually put for each question. Like, what is the first president? You can see what each student put. You know, Melissa Adkins, you can say, said Lincoln. Fred Sanji said Cookie Monster. So you've got some different items here. What is 2 plus 2? You've got the different answers. And again, I asked many of these to put right and wrong answers so we could kind of get a feel of how this works. So this is the actual response to look at it individually. Now let's say you wanted to look at data across the board, maybe like in general for your entire class. I'm going to go back to the form, and this is the form that was created, and I'll go to responses and then summary of responses, and that will actually give me a summary of all of the different data. So these first ones are just addressing the identity of the student, so those don't give me much there. Like this question here, 2 plus 2, you can see the percentage. This tells you the different answers on the left hand side. Then you have how many people put that answer and the percentage that got that correct. So you can kind of use this data to however you need to gauge where your class is in the success of learning that particular material. So these are some, kind of like an overview, a broad spectrum of each individual question, but how your overall class did on those particular questions. So those are kind of a great side, some great data and statistics that you could use there. So those are two different forms that you could use. Again, you've got the individual responses, or you've got the overall view of your entire class. Now I'm going to go back to this. I dropped that down. Let me click on it, open it back up. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm going to go back to the view responses to get my spreadsheet. Now, I'm going to use a program called Flubaroo to actually grade this. Now you're going to see this Flubaroo is going to probably cause me problems because down here you can already see the extra spreadsheet. This is what it'll give you when it actually grades. So I've graded this so many times that Flubaroo has kind of like not working with it now because I don't even know how many times I've hit grade on this, but I'm going to still walk you through. So before you begin, what you're going to do is, if you have not added Flubaroo yet, you'll go to Add-ons up here at the top bar, and then you'll go to Get Add-ons. Once you click on Get Add-ons, then your search engine pops up. If you don't see it, mine just happens to be big because it's the one I have. You type in Flubaroo in the search engine, and then you just can search that, and then you'll look here. Yours will say something like add or free on the green button. You'll click that, and you'll actually add it to your spreadsheet. Again, if you're in Forms, if you're in this view, you can't add Flubaroo. Flubaroo will only work for spreadsheets, so you have to be in the spreadsheet form to add on the Flubaroo. Now, once your students have taken your quiz, test, survey, whatever it is, then you need to yourself take the survey, quiz, whatever, and you need to make 100 on it. That's going to be the key. So you're going to go through the whole test or the whole quiz yourself and just make sure you're getting every single answer right, so that everything that's gauged against your test, that's what will be counted as right or wrong. So you can see here where I've taken this particular quiz already. So now that I've taken it and I've had some of my students, let's say I've got all the students that I want to take it, then I can go ahead and grade this. So I'll go to the add-ons, and then I'll hover over Flubaroo, and you can see the options that'll pop up. Yours will say grade assignment if you hadn't graded it yet. So you'll click on that, and it'll walk you through some different options. Mine's going to say replace grade since I've already graded it. Y'all's won't have this pop up unless you're regrading an assignment. So the first thing that it's going to ask you to do is to select what type of point system you're going to use. So if it's, sorry, let me go back to that. Okay. So, sorry about that. If you go to, for instance, this username, that's going to identify the student. Their first name, that identifies the student. So all these first sections are just to identify the student. Under these other questions here, you actually have the ability to weight it differently. You've got 1 point, you've got 4 points to 5 points. So you've got multiple options there to give questions, you know, more points than others. So once you pick your point system, you click continue. And then it's going to ask for what you want to use your key. Again, if you don't have a first and last name question, remember you don't have to do that, because if you clicked on that checkbox here that says to allow respondents to have this username here, if you clicked on this option, then it will automatically give you your username category right here. So once you have the username, you really don't necessarily need a question of the first name, a question of the last name. But I just happened to put key in the place there, so it made it very easy. If I didn't have a place to put key there, I would just find where I took it. And this is where I took it, so I'll select that, hit continue, and then it will go through the grading process. So it actually worked this time and didn't give me any problems. Great. Okay, so this is what your Flubaroo looks like. It breaks it down into possible points, the average points. It gives you all the information kind of segmented over in the left of what just identifies the kids, and then over here is the points. Now under your percentage, this is what you'll probably put in the grade book. This is what the students made on this particular quiz or test here, and then you've got what total points they earn. So this automatically takes their total points and turns it into a percentage grade, which is nice. Now just like the graphs did when we went to the responses and summary of responses, just like it gave you graphs for this information of the percentages, Flubaroo does this as well. So it tells you for this United States, first president of the United States question, 40% got this wrong or right. So it highlights that because that's, you know, that's not a good percentage. We need to have the class work on that. You know, you may like this structure, but the graph system does basically the same thing, and it seems a little bit more detailed and probably easier to actually analyze the information. But you do have that option here. Now, after you grade with Flubaroo and you've got your scores, another great option is that you can actually have the students' grades emailed to them. Now, with that being said, to do that, you'll go back to add-ons, and then you'll go to Flubaroo, and you can see here where it says email student grades. So when you click on that, then it's going to pop up the option here, and it can you'll just fill in this information. You can actually include messages that you would like to have in the email, like you did a great job. You can include the answer key in there if you would like to make sure that they get feedback into that. So these are just some options that you'll be able to have if you actually go through and email the students their scores. And then it gives me the 5 grades were successfully emailed. So those people that took this quiz a while back just got an email for what their responses were on this quiz. Okay, so that's how you can actually go through and email responses. Now you notice all of a sudden these X's popped up on my grading or my email grade. So that means that an email has been sent. Let's say that these were all cleared out before I had actually emailed them, and let's say for some reason I don't want Paige Russum to get an email of the grade that she wants. You know, I don't know why you do that, but there may be a situation. Okay, so all I would do is in place of the email grade, I'd put an X, so I would kind of trick the system into thinking, okay, it's already emailed Paige Russum, so now when I go up to the add-ons, Flubaroo, and email grades, it actually won't email Paige Russum because the system thinks that it has already emailed her if you put an X in that place. So that's just an option that you could utilize if you need to. 1 second, let me pull up the item. I'm going to show you what an email of correct responses and incorrect responses look like. This is the item that would be sent to the student's email account. So once you clicked on that send emails, the students would get a list of the different questions, and if it's correct, obviously it'd be in big and green and say correct, this is what answer chose or choice you put, and then if it's wrong, it'll say big and reddish incorrect. It'll tell what your answer was and it'll give the correct answer. So that's kind of a great side that gives the students feedback as well. So if you have any questions on working with Flubaroo or adding in any different type of questions in the form, please let me know. Thanks.